FBLA, Scholar Bowl, and Beta. Our clubs are doing a lot of great things right now. Those stories coming up.
Winter sports are over and spring sports are underway. We've got an update on both.
The VHS band program has been invited to perform at Carnegie Hall this summer. I've got the scoop on how you can help them.
It might seem crazy what I'm about to say. Sunshine, she's here, you can take a break. I'm a hot air balloon that could go to space. With the air, like I don't care, baby, by the way. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like a room without a roof. Because I'm happy.
Welcome back to the Blue Jay Bit, where every bit of news matters. I'm Cicely Pryor.
And I'm Landon Jimerson. Let's take a look at what's been happening here at VHS. The high school band class has been invited to play at Carnegie Hall in New York next year. After submitting a recording of the band, they were chosen out of hundreds of applicants for this opportunity. Band director Janine Gibbs talked with us about the cost of the trip and how they're fundraising to make this possible.
For this trip to be able to happen, the students have to raise about $1,700 each, which will equal about $42,000 because I have about 27 students who are going. The students who are eligible to go are this year's juniors all the way down to this year's 8th grade students.
If you'd like to help out the band by making a donation, contact the Viburnum High School for information.
Our teachers have been working really hard to make several changes. This past February, they got together to create a student leadership team so they can have an input on decisions being made here at school. Let's talk to Dr. LaRue about this program. What is the student leadership team?
Our student leadership team is a group of students that to help provide administration and our teacher leadership team with feedback about their education, about planning and the process moving forward on where we want to be as a school district, and to help us build a student relationship between staff and students. I think it's a really neat group. I think they have the opportunity to help our student population instructionally, educationally, and just the overall experience of high school, and that's our goal.
One of their projects was to create a district hashtag for anyone to use on social media to link us all together. When you're posting about the school, use hashtag BlueJaysAllDay and be sure to follow that hashtag so you don't miss out.
Several students have been honored as Students of the Month. December Students of the Month were 7th grade Wyatt Hampton, 8th grade Tori Miller, 9th grade Caitlin Harmon, 10th grade Tatum Boyer, 11th Reagan Brandt, 12th is Warren Broom.
January Students of the Month were 7th grade Tyler Stoltz, 8th grade Jessica Miner, 9th grade Brayson Hubbs, 10th grade Maya Thompson, 11th grade Lily Sharp, 12th grade Andrea Blunt. Congratulations to each of you. And now for the Superintendent Minute, here's Kent Sharrow.
All right. Hello, my fellow Blue Jays. I want to take a minute to say thank you to everyone for the patience you've shown during these last few weeks of inclement weather. Thank you to the parents for your support as we work through these difficult days. Your children's safety is our number one priority, and your flexibility on these days is really helpful, and I appreciate your support. Thank you, teachers. I know it's hard to change your lesson plans, and your pacing guides are always messed up when we have these days. Thank you to our administrators, because I know it's hard to reschedule games and move those things around, so I appreciate that. Support staff, thank you for clearing off the roads. Thank you for clearing off the parking lots and the sidewalks. That's not easy. You're the ones out there working when no one else is around, so thank you for that. Finally, thank you to bus drivers. It's a special thank you to you, because even on those days when we do have school, I know that driving the bus is always tricky, and those days just make it even more difficult. So thank you for being Blue Jays, and everybody go have a great Blue Jay Day.
Since January, the journalism class has been working with DCAI on a video to make it especially for the JPAC program. The JPAC program lost a grant that was providing them with the funds for the program and are seeking out more ways to fund the program. Their big plan is to send the video to the Ellen Show and hopefully expand this program as far as possible. The link for the video is in the description below.
Now here's Warren Broom with the club updates.
The FBLA club, despite all of the snow, were still able to compete in District FBLA by sending videos of the competitions to the event. We talked with Miss Jamie Warren about the results.
Yes, I am very pleased with the results of how we competed at districts. With Viburnum being such a small school, We are competing against schools like St. John, Farmington, Fredericktown, North County, and we always come out with a huge number of qualifiers for State Leadership Conference. This year alone, we had 14 qualify. The weather this season has been tricky. Usually we have DLC, which is our District Leadership Conference, over at MAC in Park Hills, and it was supposed to have been on Friday the 15th this year, but we were snowed out. And then the makeup day was February 18th, and we were iced out that day. So my performers were not able to perform their speeches or different presentations that they need to do in front of the judges. And usually when that happens, we are just out of luck. But since there has been a lot of snow days throughout the state this year, with all the different DLCs not being able to have their conferences, they've allowed us to submit videos this year of those events. I'm so proud of my students. They worked hard all year long for fundraising to help with our Adoptive Family Project, and just proud of how they perform at our DLC and then state competition. Hopefully we'll have a qualifier to go to nationals this summer.
FBLA will be competing in this year's state competition on April 14th through 16th in Springfield. After 4 years of being in and out of the Scholar Bowl at Viburnum, Miss Becky Daniels and her teams have brought the activity to new heights with a second place standing in the Gasconade Valley Conference. Miss Daniels tells us about her team's success.
We have entered more meets this year than our school probably has ever entered before. We used to only enter the conference meets, and we've been branching out, and we've gone to DeSoto for a large meet. We've gone to Sullivan 3 or 4 times for junior varsity and varsity meets. So that alone, just being more active and going to more meets, has really prepared us for districts and conference. I think what we're going to have to do now from here forward over the next couple of weeks before districts get here is to really hone in on some of those individual topics, do some studying, do some reading, so that we know as much as possible for whatever questions might pop up. I think it's important to note that the kids on this team have really branched out and tried something new, and they're successful at it. And it's one of those activities within our school that maybe doesn't get as much recognition or praise when you look at sports and things like that. This is something that aligns straight with the classroom, and these kids are tackling something that requires them to continue learning. And I commend them greatly for that, and I hope that they stick with it.
They'll try to continue this season's success in the district tournament, which takes place on April 6th in Bell City. Recently, the officers for our school's Junior Beta Club have been chosen by Junior Beta sponsor Garrett Haggerty. We spoke with him and his newly inducted officers about the induction process.
So to choose beta officers, we wanted the kids to have an opportunity to have their voice heard, but we were also afraid that it would maybe be kind of like a popularity contest. For these last 2 years, we've just done interviews, wrangled up some misfits, Mr. Myers, Miss Daniels, Miss Edgar. I brought in Miss Merciel and Miss Hubbs, and we sat in as a panel and we asked the kids the same questions, and we would talk, and then we would have to sit down and decide who we thought would be the best fit for that position. It was a lot tougher than we thought it was going to be. These kids, they're officers for the fact that they can set themselves up for success in the future. So the 3 things that I need them to do, one, they need to be examples for the other kids in their classrooms because they hold that position. And then I need them to stay out of the office for any reason whatsoever. If they're in there, that's not a good look for us. And then the 3rd thing I need them to do, I need them to look for any opportunity to be a leader and take that opportunity.
Feels really good to be able to help Maddie lead and be the vice president.
Okay.
It feels exciting because you get to do so many other things in beta.
It feels good knowing that I'm kind of like the leader of a little tiny community in our school. It's very nice.
It's cool thinking that I get to help them make decisions on ways we can help our community.
I feel honored by being a beta officer, and I wanted to become one because I like helping out any way I can.
Be on the lookout for beta serving our community. Now here's Cameron Payne with the sports.
Basketball season has come to an end. The boys team finished their season with a first-round loss to districts on February 18th. We sat down with Coach Branch to talk about how the season has went, as well as his plans for next year.
Leading scorers would have been really most of our seniors. Ethan and Cameron were probably our two primary scorers. Ethan averaged about 16 a game, and Cameron was right around 12 and a half points a game. Hunter obviously contributed quite a bit there, and we had other guys that contributed off the bench, not so much scoring, but as far as rebounding and intensity and defense and that kind of some of the things we started doing at the end of the year that were successful, we'd be able to start doing those a lot earlier in the year, which I think would have been helpful, obviously. But as far as just doing things overall different, not at all. We're looking forward to having a whole off season to get ready for next year and get some time in the weight room and kind of be ready to hit the ground running whenever things start next year, whereas this year we weren't really able to do that. As far as everything else goes, it's just been nice getting to know everybody. The community has been really supportive. The kids have been really supportive. We didn't have a problem with people showing up for practice in the morning and that kind of thing. Everybody was really coachable. Everybody worked really hard, and so that's been really nice, and we really appreciate that, both Coach Jackson and I, and look forward to getting to work with everybody.
Although the boys had a rough season, they still earned postseason honors. Senior Ethan Boyle was named Gasconade Valley Conference All-Conference Team. Congratulations to him and his team. The girls basketball team finished their season 10-15. The girls had an impressive season, placing second in the Christmas tournament and third in the BRL tournament. According to Coach Harris, they worked on trying to speed up the ball in their defensive pressure and offensive transition. Coach Harris is looking toward next season, saying Tatum Boyer should average a double-double next year. Andrea and Tatum both earned all-conference and all-districts. Mr. Myers is the new coach this year for golf. We sat down with him to talk about what he is going to do to build up this program and what his expectations are.
We have 13 people who've come out for golf this year. Golf is a varsity sport at Viburnum, which means all of our meets are varsity only. We can only take our 6 varsity players. My main goals for the season is to start to build the program. We've had a golf team for a while, but it's always been kind of just a few kids here and there and then a couple years off, and we'd really like to build a varsity program. We're going to start with the freshmen and sophomores this year who are coming out, getting them ready for when they're varsity in the upcoming years, and hopefully be able to sustain that program so that we can stay successful for many years.
Their first match is March 26th. We wish you luck and hope for first place. Baseball has started as well. Their first game is Monday against Kingston at home and Tuesday against Bourbon away. This year's new track coach is our favorite, amazing, wonderful principal, Dr. LaRue. We sat down with him to talk about what his expectations are and what he has to bring to the track team.
The opportunity to be around students in a different aspect and to build relationships with those students. Expectations are for those students to work hard, to compete, to be in shape, and to help them reach their goals. I was fortunate enough to have Coach Steve McBurnett as my high school track coach. I think he's probably one of the best in the state, or I would consider him one of the best in the state, and so I think I went through a really solid program when I was in school, and I hope I can keep that tradition that he started carried on.
With a new coach and a new team, their first meet is March 19th. If you see Dr. LaRue or any of the track team, wish them luck. This year, the junior high volleyball team started off the year with a new coach too. We sat down with Coach Dunn to talk about her team and how excited she is for this season.
The season has gone pretty well. Definitely not as I had hoped, given that we've had so many snow days, but I've seen a lot of improvements from the girls overall. My expectations for this season really was to just get the girls familiar with the game of volleyball and share my love of the game and hope that I can pass that on to them and that they can learn to play together as a team and acquire the skills needed to move forward.
Next game is March 21st at 5:30 at South Iron. Go out and support your Blue Jays.
Now for this week's Bird Word. February 28th was National Toast Day. We went out to see how you guys like your toast. Let's take a look.
Toast is great. I like it with a bit of jelly or maybe a bit of butter, especially with butter.
I like my toast with butter and cinnamon on it.
Yeah, I like toast.
How do you like your toast?
I like it toasted with grape jelly and butter, real butter.
A little bit brown with some butter and cinnamon.
How do I like my toast? With peanut butter and jelly. Grape jelly.
With butter.
That's it?
Yep.
Nothing else? All right.
Like my toast extra toasty.
That's all for this week.
We'll be back in a bit.